Alright everyone, welcome back to Newsboy Hoey. Today we are talking about a very important topic when it comes to being a Catholic, right? You can say, oh, I'm Catholic, but what does Catholicism really mean? Catholicism is a life. It's not a title. Just because you say, I'm Catholic, does not mean you're necessarily being a Catholic. You have to be into it, right? It's more than just being a sports fan. It's more than just being a movie fan. Catholicism is a life, okay? So take a look at your day. How much is spent on the internet, technology, etc., right? How much do you spend really on anything else? I can guarantee it's probably more than you spend on prayer. And while some things require you to spend more time than prayer, like, for instance, you need to be working probably more than you pray, because you work about 8 hours a day, or doing school, you do that about 8 hours a day as well. But you need to pray, take out a time in your day to pray, all right? So, here's my question for you at the beginning of the video, and I want you to leave it in the comments below. What does being a Catholic mean to you? Alright, leave it in the comments. Okay, so before we dive too deep into this video, this is the essential gear that every Catholic should have. You should have a rosary on you, holy water, a Bible, a catechism, and a scapular. These is the essential gear. It's like the essential gear of hiking is certain things. This is the essential gear of being a Catholic, and you should always have these things near you, on you, or just you should own one of each of these things so that you can do all the stuff I'm going to tell you to do. Life has been weird since the coronavirus. So you think about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and it's different than what it was a year ago or however long the coronavirus started ago. I've lost count. But think about what you're doing then and think about what you're doing now. You probably have more time on your hands where you don't have anything to do, and you end up filling that with technology, food, something that's probably not getting you closer to God. So take this time as an opportunity to focus more on making Catholicism a bigger part of your life, making it a focus of your life, something you think on an hourly basis almost. So there's 3 ways you can do this, and through your thoughts, your words, your actions. And it all comes down to thoughts, because everything is generated from our thoughts. So what can you do? So mental prayer. This is a thing that it seems better, and it is better, because you have regular prayer where you have to recite something, or you have to be with a bunch of people and you feel like you don't have as much of a part, and you feel like you have to do a certain amount of things, or you have mental prayer where it's really just one-on-one you with God. And I feel like mental prayer is better at a start, especially because all prayer, in fact, anything you're doing, you should focus on, but especially if it's relating to God, so you should be focusing on it. So what should you start with? Just focusing on God. So just focus on God, focus on what you're asking Him for, but also mental prayer means focusing on whatever you're doing and really controlling your thoughts, right? So how you can make your life more geared towards God, think about what you're thinking about on a day-to-day basis, right? And if it's bad, if what you're consuming from the outside world is bad and is filling up your thoughts instead of God, eliminate that stuff or just control your thoughts better. Really focus on what you're doing and focus on if it's bad or not. Now, words go hand in hand with thoughts. Words, you can be saying a rosary, because once you get down, focusing on God, then you really need to start saying the rosary, because the rosary is super powerful. It's said to be like punching the devil in the head. Mary told us to do it every time she'd appeared. The rosary is very important. So once you get down thinking about God, right, add in the rosary and start saying it out loud. It can be super quiet, like, real quiet, but saying it makes you stay focused on it and helps you keep better track. Because if you just think the rosary, then if you lose train of thought, then you have to start all over 3 beads ago or whenever you forgot. So saying it really helps, and then you think about it while you're saying it. But it doesn't have to be loud, right? But not only that, so it goes hand in hand with thoughts, because your praying you always need to be thinking about what you're praying about. Or if you're at Mass, whatever someone's saying to you, and whatever you're saying back, you need to be thinking about that, not just daydreaming and then just, the responses. But not only that, so what you take in from the outside world, what you're consuming, like we talked about in thoughts, not letting those take up your thoughts. Also, don't let those expel out through your mouth, right? You watch lots of movies with curse words and stuff on it, then don't let that expel right through your mouth. Or lots of movies with inappropriate stuff, or really just a few. Everyone watches movies, so just control what you're taking in and control what you're expelling out. They go hand in hand. St. Francis of Assisi said, we should not hope to pray, but to become prayer. So, think about that and really think about what you're taking in, what you're taking out, and how much you're praying. Finally, actions. God, or Jesus Christ himself, gave us 3 guidelines on how to really be a good Catholic in our actions. And these are guidelines or goals, right? So, we have the 10 Commandments. You can find them on Exodus 21 through 17 in the Catholic Bible, right here. And you can, and they're really useful. They're basically guidelines on what a Catholic should do, like what they should or should not do. I feel like they're more restrictions as opposed to guidelines, but they are still guidelines, and they are something you should basically really think about and really see if you're doing all of this, right? You're going to sin, you're going to mess up, but really see how much you're messing up and what commandment you're especially messing up on, right? Then, the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes are basically like taking a look at your life and what are you doing and how will you get it's basically like goals almost, already preset goals. Like taking a look at your life and which Beatitude you fit into, then really seeing where you are in life. And it's a good thing to have memorized as well as the 10 Commandments, right? And then the sacraments, which can be found in the Catholic Catechism 1210. I think you can look them up. The sacraments, Catholic 7 sacraments, right? They're very useful to memorize, and the more of them you receive, the more grace you'll have, and the more grace of God you'll have, and the better chance you have of getting to heaven. So sacraments are also very important. So it's good to have all these 3 things memorized because that really shows your actions. But really just being nice to people, being a good Catholic person, stuff like this. This is what you need to have memorized. Finally, so now that we've talked about all this stuff, I know it's kind of a cram-packed video. Rethink about that question I asked you earlier. What does being Catholic mean to you now? After you've watched this video, go try some of these things, right? Try to just start praying the rosary every day. It really helps. It actually really does help. Try to start praying the rosary every day. And above all, just really think about how God is influencing your life. Now, there's this thing called the 6-month plan that me and my dad do, and basically every 6 months add something. So start with the rosary, in 6 months add the daily readings, in 6 months add something else. And then eventually you'll have a very Catholic life, not just a title.